Hello and welcome to Kitchen Door Workshop, the home of replacement kitchen doors since 1996. In this video guide we're going to look at how to assemble and install plywood drawer boxes. For the purpose of the demonstration we've taken a base unit and screwed it onto a workbench to make it a little bit easier to show you how to do this. Before we get started, one question that we often get asked is how do I calculate or how do I know which height of drawer box to use with my drawer fronts? Well, in simple terms, our drawer boxes come in two heights, 100mm high and 140mm high. The 100mm high ones are good for all drawer fronts up to 283mm high. I would only recommend using the 140 high drawer boxes where your drawer front is more than or where it is 283mm or higher than 283mm. And it's important to get the right drawer box for the job. Now let's look at how we actually build the drawer boxes themselves. The drawer box comes as four sides and a base panel. You'll see in the sides and the front and the back there is a groove that will take the base panel. So as we put the drawer box together, we just need to make sure that the groove lines up on every piece. As we put this together, I'm going to use a little bit of wood glue on the dowels and in each of the holes. Now we're ready to slide the base panel into place. And attach the final piece. So that's the drawer box assembled and ready for fitting the runners. Now we often get asked, how can I tell which is the side of the drawer box and which is the front or back of the drawer box? Well, it's actually quite easy to tell. On the side of the drawer box you don't see any exposed plywood. On the front of the drawer box and on the back of the drawer box you can see the exposed ends. Now they're going to be covered by the drawer front, that's why it's done that way. So now we're ready to fit the runners. To attach the runners, we are going to simply sit the runner on the top of the drawer box, aligning the front of the runner with the front of the drawer box. The back of the runner extends past the back of the drawer box and the wheel is at the back. I'm then going to mark two holes, drill two pilot holes and attach the runner with a couple of screws. We sell the screws, it's the same ones that you use for the runners, and they are 3.5mm diameter, 15mm long countersunk wood screw, and I'm just going to do that now. So that's it. I've attached the runners to both sides of the drawer box and now the drawer box is ready for installation into the cabinet. Right, now we need to decide where we're going to fit the drawer box and the drawer runners. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the height of the drawer front. In this example, the drawer front that I'm using is 140mm high, so I'm going to put a little pencil line there at 140. Now the drawer runner needs to be mounted higher up the cabinet than the bottom of the drawer front. I've got a pair of drawer runners here. Generally they're marked left and right just by the wheel. If you happen to get some drawer runners come that don't have the left and right marking on them, the way to tell them apart is the wheel is always at the front of the runner, the wheel is always at the bottom of the runner, and at the back of the runner the runner tips downwards. So it's possible to sort of work out that that one sits on the left hand side because the back tips down and the wheel is at the front, at the bottom, and this one goes on the right hand side. So if I offer the drawer runner, the pencil line is there. I want to mount the drawer box further up than that position. Now I'm going to mark a line approximately halfway up the drawer runner. Now that line tells me where the line of screws are going to go that are going to hold the drawer runner in place. So what I'm going to do now is to measure down from the top of the cabinet to that pencil line, which is 110 millimeters, and I'm going to mark that pencil line inside the unit in a couple of places, and the same on this side. Measure down 110 mil. Now, using a spirit level, I'm going to join those lines together. Now if I offer the runner back up to a position where I can see the lines through the screw holes along the length of the runner, and if I hold the front of the drawer runner along the front of the unit, in line with the front of the unit, all I need to do now is to mark at least 3 of those holes, and that's going to be where I'm going to put the fixing screws. Now the fixing screws we sell on our website, they generally fit into the smaller of the holes that you see in the runner. If you want to use your own fixing screws for this, it's not a problem. You just need to make sure that they don't sit too proud of the runner, because that will clash with the actual wheel on the runner and stop the drawer from sliding. Now the screws that we use for this are a 3.5 millimeter diameter screw, and the length of them is 15 millimeters. So I'm now just going to mark the holes, and I'm going to mark the 3 smallest holes. And the same on the other side. Now I'm ready to pre-drill the holes. When I pre-drill the holes, what I tend to do is to get the drill bit that I'm going to use, and in this instance I'm going to use a 2 millimeter diameter drill bit, and I want to mark the drill bit to show how deep to drill the holes. Some people guess, and that's fine. I like to get the hole just the right depth, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear off a small piece of masking tape, hold the end of the drill bit against the end of the length of the screw, and just wrap the masking tape around the drill bit to show how deep I want to drill the hole, so that I don't drill the hole too deep. Now I'm ready to pre-drill the pilot holes. When using a power drill, always make sure that you wear eye protection plus any other safety equipment that may be necessary. Having drilled the pilot holes, now I'm ready to fix the runner into position using 3 screws. Okay, so that's the runners fixed into position. If the cabinets that you're fixing the runners to are 15 millimeters thick, then you need to use a 3mm spacer between the runner and the side of the cabinet, and we do sell those on our website. If you're using, if your cabinets are 18mm thick, then you don't need to use the spacer. The runners will just mount to the side of the unit. So we're ready to put the drawer box in. Here we go. So to fit the drawer box, wheels will be at the back. You just offer the drawer box up, sliding the wheels over the top of the wheels on the runners, and the drawer box drops into position, slides very well. Now we're ready to think about putting the drawer front on. Now, before we can fit the drawer front when we're using plywood drawer boxes, what we need to do is to, if there's a door below it, is to fit the door first and to level the door. Once we've leveled the door, we are then ready to fit the drawer front, and I'll show you this one just as an example. So when you're ready to fit the drawer front, what you need to do is to fit to the front of the drawer box some double-sided tape. Then, holding the drawer front level, and what I suggest you do if the door below it is level, just put a small space between the door and the drawer front. Offer the drawer front up and just stick it into place temporarily using the double-sided tape. Then you can open the drawer front, or open the drawer box, sorry, and drill through to fix the handle, and it's the handle that will hold it in place and give you a good fixing. Using the handle or knob to fix the drawer front to the drawer box does give you a very good fixing. However, if you, for example, have a handleless door or a handleless drawer front, one that isn't going to use a knob or a handle, then all that you need to do is again use the double-sided tape to give you a temporary fixing, align the drawer front, press it into place, then simply screw from the back of the drawer box through and into the drawer front, and that will give you a very, very good fixing. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about some of the most common mistakes people make when fitting the plywood drawer boxes. The first one is that they use the wrong size screws in the runners, and they may use a wood screw, countersunk wood screw, but the head's too big, or they may use a round-headed screw, and what that means is the runners just don't run smoothly. They hit against the head of the screw. So it's important to use the right size screw, and the screws that we sell ourselves are designed to work with the runners. Secondly, do not fit the runners level, so the runners may be down at the back, up at the front. They're not level with each other. One's higher than the other, or one's forward of the other. So getting the two runners level and in line with each other is very, very important. I think the third mistake that people make is when they have 15mm thick cabinets, is they don't use the 3mm spacers, and what happens is the drawer box will literally just drop through the hole. So when using 15mm cabinets, it is vitally important to remember to use the 3mm spacers to move the runners in from the edges of the cabinet. I think the other problem people sometimes have is fitting the handle screw through the back of the door and through the drawer box, because it adds an extra thickness. Now, the handles are supplied with a general purpose universal screw that is good for many, many applications. If you find that your screw isn't long enough, we actually sell on the website snap-off screws that are very easy to adjust the length of. You don't even need a saw to cut them, you just snap them to length. Or you could always pop down your local DIY shop if you need just a couple of them, and they're a standard, what we call M4 machine screw that you can use if you need to replace any of the handle screws. Fitting drawer boxes into existing cabinets is the same as fitting drawer boxes into new cabinets. And we often get asked why, when you buy a new cabinet from us, isn't it pre-drilled for the drawer runners? Well, the truth of that is there are so many different combinations: a 2-drawer, a 3-drawer, a 4-drawer, a drawer above a door, whether they're the plywood drawer boxes or the soft close drawer boxes, you'd end up with a cabinet that's just full of holes, that's more holes than it is anything else. So the way that we prefer to do it is to do them relatively undrilled. It comes as a general purpose cabinet, and you then just mark your own combination of drawer fronts, however many there are, whether you're using the soft close drawer boxes or the plywood drawer boxes. It takes a few moments and it gives you a very, very good result. Well, I hope that you found this video useful in showing you how to assemble and install plywood drawer boxes, and I hope that you'll take a moment to watch the other videos in the series too. However, if you've got any unanswered questions or you need any help, don't hesitate to drop us an email, give us a call, and we'd be delighted to try and help you.